Hank Barstow. That was Master Chief, United States Navy.
No prejudice. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. Before it was officially known as Memorial Day, this day was called Decoration Day. It began after the Civil War, when communities and organizations like the Grand Army of the Republic honored fallen soldiers by decorating their graves with flowers. The first official Memorial Day was observed on May 30th, 1868. It was established to honor, mourn, and remember the men and women who lost their lives in the Civil War, a war that divided families and tore a nation in two. It was believed that honoring those on both sides would help heal our country. Laws were written declaring all men free and equal. But as history shows us, changing hearts takes longer than changing laws. Over 620,000 lives were lost, many to infections following the battles. Today, we remember them. Their sacrifice laid the foundation of the freedom we enjoy. World War I, from 1914 to 1918, known as the Trench Wars of Europe, reshaped the world. The collapse of four great empires, Germany, Russia, Austria-Hungary, and the Ottoman Empire, ushered in revolutions and the redrawing of national borders. Over 116,000 American lives were lost. Their names are etched into monuments across this country. In 1919, the American Legion was founded to serve veterans. That same year, the red poppy became a national symbol of remembrance, inspired by the poem In Flanders Field by John McCrae, that we just read. This mission was adopted by the American Legion Auxiliary and is carried on to this day. Thank you for that. Then came World War II, 1939 to 1945, the deadliest conflict in human history, claiming 50 to 85 million lives. Let me say that again, up to 85 million lives. This war spanned continents, oceans, and cultures. It introduced new technologies, faster aircraft, stronger tanks, and the atomic bomb. It also revealed humanity's darkest chapter, the Holocaust, where millions of Jews and others were systematically murdered by the Nazi Germany. The United States lost 405,399 service members in World War II. Memorials stand across the globe in their honor. My own father served in the U.S. Army Air Corps during this war. It changed how Americans saw the world and how the world saw America. We emerged as a global power and a force for freedom. Next came the Korean War, often called the Forgotten War. It mirrored our own Civil War, North against South, and ended in an armistice, not peace. To this day, the Korean Peninsula remains divided. Over 36,000 American military were lost on foreign soil defending freedom. was a different kind of war. It was new terrain, new cultures, new lessons learned. Then Vietnam, 1955 to 1975. Another divided nation, another battleground for freedom versus communism. Over 58,000 American lives were lost, alongside more than 1.5 million Vietnamese. This war divided our own nation. I remember it well. I was a young man then. Friends from my town that didn't come home. Faces I knew. Names I still remember. That's when Memorial Day stopped being abstract for me. It became personal. I joined the Navy Seabees in 1970 and retired in 1998, 28 years of service. I carried bodies to graves, honored my classmates, and understood the weight of military service. Desert Shield and Desert Storm. 1990 to 91 were a different kind of war, fast, strategic, technological. We built bases, secured airfields, and supported coalition forces. 382 American lives were lost in that conflict. Their names are etched in stone across our country. Operation Iraqi Freedom, 2003 to 2011, aimed to remove Saddam Hussein and disrupt terrorism, but began as a swift invasion turned into a long, difficult insurgency. By the time we withdrew, 4,419 American heroes had made the ultimate sacrifice. As a retired Master Chief in the U.S. Navy Seabees, I've known brave men and women who wore the uniform with pride. And I have known the silence that follows when one of them doesn't come back. That silence speaks louder than any words we could ever say. I remember once while serving on a board in Washington, D.C., we had Easter Sunday off. We were all Master Chiefs, and we decided that one of the female Master Chiefs that was working with us had lost her husband in Vietnam. So we talked about it, and we all thought it would be a good idea to go to the wall in full uniform and stand in the dark and wait for the sun to rise. We did. Changed my life. Every one of us, as the sun came up and hit the wall, wept. Almost no words were spoken. And that's why we gather here today. Not just to remember names, but to carry forward their legacy. Memorial Day isn't just about uniforms. It's about sacrifices of all forms, about the Gold Star families with an empty seat at their table. It's about the first responders, the civilians caught in the crossfires of war, and the heroes we lose quietly to wounds no one can see. Those of us who served remember faces. We remember laughter, nicknames, late night stories. And we remember the moment we got the news that someone wasn't coming home. That moment never fades. But the true challenge, making sure the rest of the world doesn't forget either. Let me leave you with the words of General George Patton. It is foolish and wrong to mourn the men who died. Rather, we should thank God such men lived. So today and every day, let us be a grateful nation. Let us be a remembering people. And let us never take for granted what others have paid for in full. Thank you. God bless you. And may God continue to bless the United States of America.